Hello, my name is Fimbas Ezema Chisom, and I'll be taking you on day 4 of the data analysis online free training. This is the Power BI section, and I'll be taking you. Welcome to Loctech. If you have not subscribed yet, please ensure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you catch up on the days you've missed and you won't miss the last day. Thank you. So I'm going to be going into my slide now for the Power BI section. Okay, so what is Power BI? Power BI is a suite of business analytics tools developed by Microsoft that helps users visualize and share insights from their data. So it's a very powerful tool that essentially helps users analyze and extract insights from their data, any kind of data. It allows users to connect to various data sources, clean and transform data, create interactive visualizations, and share reports and dashboards. So it's not only the fact that you can extract meaningful insights from your data, you're also able to connect to different kinds of data, ranging from CSV files to Excel files to even databases. You're able to work with different kinds of data, clean it, right? Because it's not every data you get from different websites or different sources that will be to your need. So you have to ensure it's clean enough, and by cleaning is the process of transforming data to your needs, to your liking. So you have to ensure that the data that you have accessed, that you've connected to, is clean and is transformed properly, so you can use it to create interactive visualizations. So now it's not only to create charts, graphs. In Power BI, the charts and graphic create are interactive, and you're able to share them with your colleagues, your work people, your clients, and so on and so forth. So yeah. So moving on, Power BI Desktop, which is the application that we'll be using today to analyze our data and work with our data sets. So Power BI Desktop is a free application from Microsoft that allows users to just do everything I said earlier. So to connect, to transform, then to create reports and dashboards, and it also helps you to share your work. So it provides a drag and drop interface for designing visualizations, and it offers advanced data modeling and data shaping capabilities. So with Power BI Desktop, it's not only the fact that you're able to do what I said earlier. It helps you to do it easily. Like, it's very, very user friendly. Everything is easy to use and easy to operate. So that's what I mean when I say drag and drop interface. So it's easy to use, and you're able to do everything I said earlier. That's connect to data, clean the data, which means transforming the data so it can meet a particular standard. It can be your standard, it can be your company standard. Then using that data, analyzing it for the purpose of extracting insights. So yeah. So moving on. Uh, Steps to download and install Power BI on your Windows. These are the steps. So please, you guys help me and screenshot these steps. So you just have to visit the websites and check, ensure that you know your system's architecture, whether it's x times 64 bits or 32 bits. Just download the exact one for your system. So you're going to download the installation file where you now have to run it. Then if you don't want to follow all these steps, right, then you can simply just go. If you're using Windows, if you're on Windows, you go to your Microsoft Store. Yeah, go to your Microsoft Store, search for Power BI Desktop, and download. Simple and short. So this is just how to get the application or the software. Power BI Desktop. So as I've said before, allows you to connect, and also moving a step further, it also enables you to use something called DAX, data analysis expressions. Now, what are data analysis expressions? These are expressions, yeah, or I'll call it a combination of formulas and functions that help you to properly work with data in Power BI. I repeat, a combination of formulas and functions that help you to properly work with data and analyze data in Power BI. So using the Power BI Desktop, you're able to work with this language, DAX. You're able to connect data from different tables also. That's the idea of data modeling, as I said earlier. So it also provides tools for formatting, customization, data exploration, making it a powerful tool for creating visually appealing and insightful reports and dashboards. A dashboard is a combination of different charts and graphs, yeah, and also slicers, excuse me, to enable you get a full and immediate snapshot of your data set, an immediate and interesting snapshot of your data set. So it's not only the fact that you're able to communicate your findings, you're able to communicate it in an interesting way with visually pleasing charts and graphs. And you have to combine the charts and graphs well, slice and dice the charts and graphs, enable the charts and graphs to be able to be sliced and diced using slicers, timelines, different things. So yeah, that's what Power BI can help you to do. Make it interactive, work with themselves. So the process of it allows you to connect. I've said before, you're also able to connect to databases, Excel spreadsheet, CSV file, cloud-based services such as an SQL database, Google Analytics, and many, many more. So Power BI provides a wide range of built-in data connectors that enables users to connect to different data sources and fetch data directly into Power BI for analysis and visualization. So we will actually go through this full process today. That is the essence of today's class, where we will have a data set. First of all, we'll have to just look at it. Then, when we'll connect to it, then we'll explore it just a bit to see what it's talking about. Then we'll transform it so it can match our needs, right? Our needs. I'll discuss, first of all, you have to actually have a goal. You can't just enter a data analysis process without having a goal in mind. So you have to have a goal. So you transform it and clean it so it can match your goals. Then you work with it. We just answer some few questions from our data set. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing today. So last thing in this slide, I would like to talk about Power BI versus Excel because it's a common topic in the data analysis realm, especially in Nigeria here, where I'm located. So Excel is a very useful tool suited to individual data tasks and personal use. Yeah, it's suited to a more personal situation. You understand? So while Power BI, on the other hand, is geared towards business analytics. That BI there means business intelligence. Yeah, with an enterprise grade focus. So Power BI is geared towards a more enterprise level analysis, a more enterprise level analytics in quotes. You understand? So Excel is more for a salesperson that wants to just track her sales, yeah, maybe make some few forecasting here and there, manage the data properly. But Power BI will enable you to work with more data, work with more advanced enterprise grade charts and also communicate your findings more effectively. That's why we are doing the Power BI after Excel. I'm sure the person that took the Excel class took it very, very well. I was there throughout. So data organization. Excel for sure organizes data intelligently within a spreadsheet, in a spreadsheet format. Power BI, on a more advanced level, it connects from diverse sources. It connects and organizes data from diverse sources, offering more advanced organizational capabilities. Excel provides templates and diverse charts, multiple different kinds of charts for individual data representation. So it's more individual focused. Yeah, maybe only when you want to enter this pivot chart, as a chart that is created from a pivot table, that's when you can get some kind of advanced charts. But for a normal situation, Excel provides a more individual data representation. While Power BI, it emphasizes on a more robust level of data representation. Yeah, it can work with hundreds of thousands, millions of rows more effectively, calmly, and it can also give you reasonable charts and graphs from any size of data. So and the connectivity, Excel has limited connectivity options primarily within a spreadsheet environment, while Power BI can connect to a wide range of sources like we've explained earlier. I've explained earlier. Excel is a single application for spreadsheet tasks, while Power BI is available in actually three forms. Is available in Power BI desktop, Power BI service, and mobile applications. Yeah, because Power BI desktop is free. It's one that you can get from your store. I can get from my store. So, while the pro and the service is the one is a more subscribe based. Is a subscription based Power BI service that enables you to share and have more advanced functionalities and capabilities. So we're just going to get straight into it. We're going to get straight into our work. Okay, so let me show you the data set that we'll be working with. Okay, okay. So this is the Power BI interface. If you just open your Power BI interface, this is this is what you'll be seeing. Um, for those of you that don't have Power BI, please try to get it quickly from your Play Store, from your Microsoft Store. It won't take too much time. And yeah, so normally you want to just go straight to your blank report. You want to create the report straight up. So this is the Power BI. This is the main place that you'll be working on actually. It's the main place that you'll be working on. And I would like to start with describing what is what, which is what we're actually working with here. So this is where you find your views. So this is your report view. This is where you do most of your work. Like this here is the report view. You can add different charts and graphs here, which we will do throughout the length of this course today. And this is the table view. So any data that you've connected to can be viewed in a tabular format, like in an Excel format, from this view. And this is a model view where you use to create relationships between your data sets. You create your relationship between your data sets using something called keys, the keys of the data, the primary key, the foreign key. I'll go into that quickly today. So in the report view and in every other view, there's something called panes. Yeah, that's what is found that's what is found now at the right hand side. This is my filters pane, this is my visualizations pane, and this is my data pane. Data pane, visualizations pane, and filters pane. All these things here are called panes, all these things here are called views. Right? Now, this, like any other Microsoft application, is called your menu bar, where you find your. I think recently they have started calling it tabs. Your tab, your file tab, home tab. So anyhow you want to call it, so far you understand it is fine. And this section here, right? It's called your toolbar. So this is your data group, your queries group. Every group like this, every small section here that is marketed by these white lines are called groups. So this is my data group, my queries group, my insert group, and so on and so forth. So I just want to quickly get into it, right? I want to quickly get into it. Now, if you want to connect to your data, which I've been stressing on since, you just simply come here, get your get data, get data. So the data that we'll be working with actually is in a CSV format. So after your get data, you come here to your CSV. When you click on CSV, you're going to select data that you want to work with. So I actually want to work with my sales 2017. I want to work with sales, a file I have called sales 2017. So I'm going to click on it, and it's actually going to load up. You can see that that word there was actually connecting, so it's going to load up. It's going to act. So you don't really need to do anything. You just need to understand that, okay, if your data is scattered, which is it's obviously is scattered, so you can actually transform or load. You can choose to transform it, or you can choose to load it directly. So it's obviously dirty. As you can see, there are plenty of spaces, there are plenty of unreasonable things here. I want to go straight to transform. And if I transform, it's actually going to take me to a tool, which is like, okay, a different software inside Power BI called Power Query. And that's where all the transformation is done. Let me just share that screen. That's where all the transformation is done. Let me show you guys that screen quickly. Okay, so this is my Power Query editor, And this is where all the cleaning and transformation of data takes place. All the cleaning and transformation of data takes place using this tool called the Power Query Editor. So first of all, we're just going to quickly explore it, right? Explore the whole situation that we're dealing with. First of all, you should just have to note that, okay, it's the same idea. Here is called your menu bar. Here is called your toolbar. These are called groups. This section, new query group, data source group, query group, all these are called groups. And this is called your query pane. Right? This is just where you select whatever you've loaded up. Right. So the name of it is called Sales 2017 Raw. That's the file I loaded up. Now, I'm going to explore our data set. So this is essentially a transactional data set. What is a transactional data set? It is a data set, yeah, that has data and focuses on transactions, word for word. Like your order, the number of sales, the price of goods, the profit you gained, when you sold, that's the date of the sales, the promo, if there was any promo, so on and so forth. Right. So this is what you call a transactional data set. Some people kind of like to refer to it as an e-commerce data set or retail data set. Anyhow, anything actually goes, right? So we are going to start by noticing that our first two rows are actually empty. Our first two rows are, I'm scrolling through here. You can either scroll through here or scroll through here, but you just quickly notice that your first two rows are empty, apart from this little write up here. So if I click on this write up, you're going to see on the bottom whatever is contained in it. I'm just seeing like sales data from an e-commerce store. The company wants to have sales analyzed, including promotions and delivery time. I'm just seeing a random write up. So I don't need that. That's not part of my table. That should not be where my headers. That's actually where my header should be, not just a random, piece of information. So how am I going to work with that? I'm just going to simply clear the first two rows. How? I can clear the first two rows by coming to my reduce row group under my home menu. I repeat, I can clear the first two rows by going to my reduce row group under my home menu. So if I click on the drop down on this remove rows, I'm going to see remove top rows. That's exactly what I want. So click on the remove top rows. I can now specify the number of top rows I want to remove. So I want to remove top rows, two of the top rows, like from the top, 1, 2. Very, very self-explanatory. So 2, and I'm going to press OK. And the first two rows I've cleared. So anything I do in this section will be reflected here as a step. Here as a step. Yeah. So if I go back to when the top rows weren't removed, you can see that it will look the way it looked before. It will look exactly how it looked before. So you can actually play around those steps. You can, if you want to see what happened before, maybe you felt that you made a mistake, you feel that you are making a mistake, you can go back, a few steps and review it. So I'm going to just click on my most recent step and continue. So I can notice that the actual header section, no header of mine is there. My headers are actually in the first row, in row 1. Row 1, 1 being this number here. What am I supposed to do? I want to now promote my headers, promote that first row so they can take the place of my headers. I want to promote the first row so they can take the place of my headers, of my header. And that's very, very easy to do. That's very, very easy to do. So I'm going to come here, still under my home menu, use first row as header. Use first row as header. So click on it and use first row as header, click on it, and it's going to make my first row, my header. And that is what is happening now. So I now want to, you can notice now as I've done that, my first row is now empty. So it's simple, same thing again, remove top rows, and I'm going to write 1. Simply press OK. I'm sure that's fine for everybody. Please, if you're not following, say it in the comment section. Any question you have at all, any question you have, just ask in the comment section. We will answer you very, very promptly. Please ask any question you want. So continuing, there are something called data types in data analysis in general. We work based on data types, right? So in Power BI, there are also data types. Power BI is no stranger to data types. Now, if you want to check the data types in Power BI quickly, at the header of any column, just click on it. and you're going to see different things. Now, these are data types in Power BI. Decimal number, fixed decimal number, which you use for currencies, whole number, percentage, date, time, date, and so on and so forth. So we are going to actually focus on the numerical ones, right? That's the top three here, and text. That's what is used to represent text, letters, alphabets, right? So we are going to focus on top three and text. So these are the different data types in Power BI. So I talked about transforming. So we have actually begun the transforming and cleaning process. When we clear the first two rows, that's actually, it's a reasonable cleaning step. Yeah, we're trying to make our data look less scanty. So if I go back to the source, that's how it looked earlier. Look in my steps section, you'll see that it is looking scanty. Like now, the most recent step makes data look more, tight, better essentially. So working with it now, like moving forward, we have actually cleared the top side. We have made it look more reasonable, and now we can now go actually enter go a step further and start removing duplicates. Yeah, we can now start clearing duplicates, and yeah, so simply, so because duplicates are never needed in your data set, they are never ever needed. They are never ever needed. You do not ever get to a stage where you work with duplicates. So our advice: clearing duplicates at the early stages of your cleaning process and at the ending. That's after you've transformed everything to your liking. You have to ensure you clear duplicates at the beginning, at the early stages actually, not the beginning, and also at the very ending. You should clear duplicates. So now, I'm going to just do that, and I'm going to focus on my ID. This is a transactional data set. Any kind of transactional data set that's properly entered should have an ID that properly represents each and every row of this data. So if you want to clear duplicates, if you want to clear any empty cells, if you want to clear if you want most of the transforming processes should be focused on the ID of the table that you're dealing with. In our case, we are dealing with the order ID table. Now that order ID, as you can see, I the bracket is added there. That unique there is to tell you that okay, the data here should be unique. It should be unique. So if that's just very clear, because now you should now know that anything that's duplicated there means that this data set has duplicates, which is not what we are working with, which is not what we want, right? We don't want our data set to have duplicates. So we are just quickly going to clear duplicates by, you can do it in two different ways. So you can click here, click on the column you want to work with, which is the order ID, click on it, remove rows. Here you see remove duplicate. So click on that, and it will actually, if you notice, let me just go to the step before. Notice that 3 appeared 3 times, and the NA appeared twice. So if I go to this most recent step after I clear duplicates, you can see that it has done its job, and that's exactly what we want. So you can either do it through this method I just showed you now, or you can simply right click and remove duplicates. They are very very straightforward, nothing wrong about that. And now that's fine. I want to now move on again. So after clearing duplicates, you have to ensure that, please note that duplicate is cleared from the entire row, not just that cell. Please note. Okay. So the next step is to clear blank rows from your ID. ID should never be empty, because ID, as I said, uniquely, identifies uniquely, in this our case, each row of our data set. So you can't have any empty thing there, like any empty thing in your order ID will mean that every other thing there, has no value. It means that there's nothing there, or if anything there is deceitful, it's wrong. So we should actually ensure that we have cleared also empty cells from our ID, not just anywhere, not just anywhere. If I go to this my let's say I go to this my column 3 that's actually just an empty, mostly empty, and say I want to clear empty rows from there. By clear empty rows from there by simply coming here to this my filter button here, and blank, on selecting blank, it will essentially clear everything, which is not what we want. In the same vein, if you want to clear duplicates, you don't just do it on a random on anything that's not your ID. If I go to my sales and say I want to clear duplicate and enter my sales and say I want to clear duplicate, I can just right click it as I said before and remove duplicate. It's going to mess with my data because I can have 0 sales in different days. I can have 5 sales different days. It doesn't mean that it's duplicated data. No, no, that's why you do not clear duplicates on anything that's not your main ID of that table. And when it comes to a properly entered data set, a properly entered data set. So I'm going to just clear that, and I'm going to just continue. I just want you guys to understand the idea behind what I'm doing. I'm not just going to clean it up for you. I want you guys to understand what's happening and why it's happening. So I'm going to come here and remove my blank. Simple. That's it. Just unselect blank, and I've cleared blank. You can also notice something called NA. So NA, align a capital letter or small letter, that end is actually written, because if I'm clicking on it, you're going to see that it's written here. That means it's not just Power BI that is actually informing me that I have an empty cell. No, it's written, not available. So I'm not doing anything with something that is telling me not available. I want to actually replace the not available with an empty. I want to make it an empty cell, then clear it out when it comes to my order ID. You can see by exploring it, you can see that your N is everywhere. Here, that N is everywhere. We're going to get back to that, but let's just work with the one in our order ID. That's when I will introduce something called replacing values. Replacing values. So simply just right click here, go to your transform group under home menu, transform group, click on replace values. So we want to replace what? We want to replace NA with nothing. We want to replace NA with nothing. And that's what I've just done there. Want to replace NA with nothing. Um, so moving on, we can now clear that empty cell like you already know. Just unselect blank. Okay, that's fine. That's a very clean cell. So our ID will never be in a situation where we are supposed to find the average of ID, the sum of ID. No. So that's why you are going to leave it as ABC as text. You should all your ID should be in text format. They should not, because you are never going to perform any calculation on your ID. You will never. And your IDs can have letters, like you can see in this case, this P. So are you going to change the P? See what happens if I change an ID that has anything that has a letter to number to an error, full-time error. If I hover over this little section here, just place my cursor over it, you're going to see that 99% of this column is filled up with errors because I tried to change it to a number when it had letters. That's wrong. That's wrong. So you leave all your IDs, even if there are no letters in it, just leave your IDs in text format. That is essentially what what you work with when it comes to ID. Don't clear any blank if it's not on your main ID. Don't clear any blank if it's not your main ID. Please, 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 which is the other ID. This is the transactional data. These are sales data set. So other ID is the main ID. Now clear your column 3 because it's mostly empty. Advice here. So you can see, if I can hover over here, you see that 99% of this column is empty. We don't want to. So advise that any column that has more than 30% of that is more than 30% empty, is there two things involved. Yeah, you should either go back to your source. If it's a source that you can discuss with, you actually try to discuss, get more insights, ask what is wrong, or ask for more data, or you don't work with it. You're not doing anything with any column that is almost half empty. No. So we are going to clear this because it's 99% empty. Remove, right click, remove, right click, remove, or come here, remove columns, remove columns. Simple, simple and short. Store ID, fine, is tight, is in text format, fine. Now date. Now working with date is very, very, very tricky. We'll see that later. We'll actually see a slight issue later on. But for now, we're just going to simply transform it by clicking on this ABC here and changing it to date. Clicking on date. It's going to change to date. And we can already see an error. We can already see an error. And now that is basically, I wanted to see this error because I wanted to show you guys something. So if I click this error, I know that is an error because of this red that is showing here. And if I hover over it, I said that I'm seeing one error, right? So if I can click on that, I can actually see the error top, thankfully. So I can click on that cell. I'll say that what was here before was NA. And Power BI can't pass NA to date. So Power BI is actually going to understand from what was there previously and transform it. Like now, what was there before, if I click on the step before, you will see that what was there was actually something that is 1/2/2017. So obviously, if you now prompt Power BI to transform something that is already in that format to date, it's going to understand sharply, very, very sharply, that okay, yeah, okay, this means, and obviously it's going to be based on your system's date format, right? So my system month comes first, so it's going to understand, okay, this means you want to switch this to month, day, year, date format, and it's going to be fast. So when it's not following that format, or when it's just a random thing like NA, it confuses Power BI. And if you try to load up these data sets, it's going to show you an error, which is not what you never want to see an error. Like you never ever want to see an error. Any error that you see must be dealt with immediately, because it can lead to more errors moving forward. So I'm going to clear that step where I change the type of this date. Actually, I'm going to clear that step. Then I'm going to work on this further. This is my order date. So I click on this order date. There's an NA here. There's an NA almost everywhere. We have cleared the NA on this order ID. So the next thing is to ensure that okay, there is no NA to disturb us moving forward. We don't want any NA to obstruct our work. We don't want any weird error. No. So how do you do that? We're going to select every other column apart from our order ID column, which has been fully worked on. So you are not, what you do not want to do is go to your order date and unselect NA. No, like load more. Then you can actually search for NA. You don't want to answer. No, that will clear the entire row. And probably there can be other important things elsewhere. It's not only because of you're seeing an NA that it means that the other things are not important. You can see an NA and that same row can have other things. Just like maybe the date wasn't available, but you can have other things, right? So you don't want to just clear the entire row out. You can do that maybe, not maybe, you should do that if your main ID has an NA, but not when the content, the other columns have an NA. So simply, I'm going to select every other column. I'm selecting my product ID column. I'm going to swipe down to the ending, hold my shift and select the last column, hold my shift key and select the last column. And I'm going to go back to where I replace values under my transform group, under my home menu. I'm going to click on replace values, and I'm going to ensure that I specify NA, and I want to replace it with what? Nothing. So okay. And now that's, I'm sure that all my NAs are clear. Moving forward, I'm now going to go to my order date and clear and ensure that okay, it's in date. No error at all. If because Power BI sometimes can act up, it might not show you the error. So if you want to confirm that truly the action you just did had no error, you have to go to the step before, then go back to the step after. Okay, so no error, that's fine. So the other date will just go well, just go once, because I already cleared that NA. Fine. Now my sales, based on the fact that the first thing that we actually do is actually to find the average sales, of per the average sales when it comes to 2017, which is the year that we are working with, as it has been moving over the months. We're going to see the movement of sales over the months in 2017. That's the first issue that we'll solve, actually. So we can't do that when sales is in ABC format. Sales has to be in a number format. So I cannot come here. I should actually come here and change the sales to number. But if I change sales to number, you guys can actually see below what will happen. An error. Obviously, an error will happen. So you want to change it back to what it was before. Text replace current. Yeah, so you go back to what it was before, and you actually want to replace all the sales text out. You want to replace the sales out with nothing. Then you can freely once transform this to a whole number. Revenue should be, because it has some points as you can clearly see, it should be in decimal number. Stock, it can be in decimal number because I don't think okay, it should actually be the whole number because that stock is the number of stocks in reserve, I believe, in your like inventory. So price, I told you anything that has number, yeah, it should be in fixed decimal. Yeah, no matter if it has decimal points or not. So anything that is based on a currency, like price and revenue are based on currencies, should be in fixed decimal when it comes to Power BI. So click on revenue, go back to revenue, and make it fixed decimal. You can replace current step, doesn't matter. We want to just clear all our promos. Actually, okay, you can leave the type 1, that's fine. So your bin 1 bin two, I'm holding my control key, bring two, discount two, should be right clicked and removed. Your date should be changed to dates format, and your last date. So there's going to be a slight catch here, because that last date, if you notice, if I go to the step before, this dates now, the first date actually follows my system format. So that one there, I'm going to tell you that it means January. It means January. So that 1 5 2017 is 5th of January 2017. But this second one does not follow my system format. So there's going to be a potential issue with a date that you're trying to transform to the date format through the normal way, when it doesn't already follow your system's format. There's going to be a slight issue, but nothing that we cannot handle. So I'm going to just quickly go here, change it to my date format, and it's going to so please, I have to also before you do much, in case you don't want to insert a step in between, you have to click on your last step to continue. So I've already done this. Okay, that's fine. I can now come here. If I change this to date, so what's going to happen? I can now click on the step before and the step after, and I'm going to see an error. You can see that it didn't show first of all. I told you guys that sometimes it will not show once. So this error, if I cannot find any of the errors, let me just quickly swipe down. Let me see. I know that it will happen when I see 13. Yeah, see. So this error means that because it's trying to convert this 1301 2017 like verbatim to my system's format, and there's no 13th month. That's a very easy fix. So just going to switch it back to what it was before. It was text before. Replace current. Switch it back to what it was before. So click here. Click here. Click the step before, step after, to ensure that that error clears. Then come here using local. Now you have to use local to prompt Power BI that okay, this date format is not already in my system's format, or it's not in my system's format. So you have to guide Power BI, actually assist Power BI, so it will know that what is working with is not already in your system's format. So when you click on using local, you might not be able to see my screen now. You might not be able to see what I'm seeing now, but please select under data type, select date. Under data type, select date, and under local, tell it, because now the data type where the date type where date comes first is not my system format. My system month comes first, which is the UK Nigerian format. So the date type where date comes first is actually the United States. So under local, select English United States. Under local, select English United States. Let's see if I can show you guys what I'm seeing, please, because I know you guys can't see that. Let me see if I can show you guys what I'm seeing. I don't want you guys to miss anything. Um, okay, okay. So okay, it's not quite possible. It's not possible. Okay, now you guys can see what I'm saying. Okay, that's fine. Okay, yeah. So ensure that here is saying date, and ensure that this second side is showing English United States, which is the format of what this actually is. Yeah, you have to guide Power BI on how to operate the date that is there, because the date doesn't follow your system format. My system format, I repeat, is English United States, but this format here that my system is having issues with is actually is my system format, sorry, is UK. This format that my system is having issue with is US. And that is the date format where date the day comes first. So that's why my system had issues with handling it. And I've gathered it now. We're going to press OK. We're going to press OK. And you can see that it's will. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. We're going to come here using local. Using local. 5 1. That's the day. So I can go to my dates. I can guide it. Okay, 3 March 29 March. Okay, this US. Okay, it's exactly my system for my UK. I'm sorry, UK. I repeat, sorry. That's something that you can just check online. UK is where your day comes first. That's not my system format. I was mistaken. So is actually the other way around. So press OK. That's what this, and it's not, you're not going to see an error. That's fine. That's fine. My system format, yeah, the point of correction, my system format is actually in the US. That's where month comes first. So yeah, basically we are right on track. So this is clean. Just for reflection, let's go back to how it looked like before. Go to our source. You can see that it was very, very scattered, tattered. Everything was wrong. All the data set, all the data types were wrongly, identified. There were NAs everywhere. There were duplicates. And now we have successfully made our data airtight, tight, looking good, and ready to work. So let's close. So when you're done with working with the data set, when you're done with cleaning and transforming, next thing is to work with it. As we said, work with it, make interactive visualizations. So we're going to just simply go to the close and apply. Yeah. So after I've closed, I'll just finish. I just close it now. It's going to load, and my people, let me share what's happening. Let me share the new, because it's going back to Power BI desktop. I'm no longer in Power BI Power Query where I clean the data. So Power BI desktop, I'm back here, and you can see my data pane is populated. So I said I will answer two questions. Let me just put a text box. Put a text box. So we can answer two quick questions, right? So click on text box. I'm just, you know, just right up here. Yeah, Power BI. That's honestly with Power BI intro. That's what we're doing today. Add another text box underneath it. So let's just put quickly tasks. Tasks. So visualize the movement of sales over the months in 2017. Okay, the next thing that I want to see is actually movement of sales over the months. And the next thing that we want to see is, we can see different things actually. There are different multiple things that we can see. Let's just see uh revenue by product. But in this case, it's going to be the ID, product ID. An ID can represent a row of it as well. An ID can represent the product name. If you say product ID 101, it can mean pins or whatever, depending on the store. So, yeah. First thing to is the most important thing. So anything you want to build in Power BI, you have to know what you want to see. So anything that involves movement, trend, development of a data, of a metric, right? It's you like over time is usually seen using a line chart. A line chart. That's how you feel it. Anything movement, anything trend. So look for your line chart. Line chart is here. Click on your line chart. It's going to come out. Make it the size that you want. I say Power BI provides a drag and drop interface, easy to use. So if I want to see this movement of sales over the month in 2017, very, very easy. Very, very easy. So click on sales. Simple. Now, if I click on my date, we're going to focus on other dates. These two dates, the delivery dates, 1 and 2 are the same thing. Other date 1 and 2 are the same thing. So simple. We're going to use just other dates. And we're going to go down again, date hierarchy, where Power BI intelligently divides the date into year, quarter, month, and day. So I'm going to say I want to see over months, right? So click on months, right? And this is exactly what I want to see. So this is the development of sales over the month in 2017. Over the months in 2017. Simple. So if you want to see the average sales per month in 2017, you come here to where because if you click on it, it's going to smartly put in for you. You don't have to stress yourself. It's going to smartly put in for you the different metrics in their right axis. This is the y-axis, this is the x-axis. So if I want to see the average sales, I can come here and make it average sales, and it's going to change smartly, sharply, anyhow. So if I want to see the revenue by products, I'm going to use a bar chart or a column chart, right? Click on it. It's going to smartly come out beside it in the same size as this one. As I said, it's very, very small. So I want to see the revenue by product. So click on revenue and click on what? Products. And it's going to do everything for you, right? It's going to position it for you. You can now rename it. How do I rename there's no need. These titles are good, but say you wanted to ever rename your chart, you come to this place, format your visual general title. I can rename it. I can just say movement of sales, right? I can just say movement of sales and enter. Simple. I can name this one. I can name this one revenue by products. That's sharp. Anyhow you want to do it. Let's just make this one average revenue. So we have already done a lot today. Time is almost up. We have done a lot today. Time is almost up. Okay. So today we have done many things. We talked about what Power BI is all about. We've talked about how you can use Power BI. We have actually connected to data sets. We talked about it. We did it. Connecting. We talked about cleaning and transforming. How it's very good. How it's powerful. We did it. We talked about how you can actually load it up and use it to visualize and make interactive visualization. So if I click on this thing, you can see that this thing will move accordingly. So by the product to click on this line, you can see the trend of the product. That's what I mean by interactivity, and this is very, very extremely powerful. You can actually achieve this in Excel, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take a whole lot. So probably powerful in this sense. So I've done all this, we have done all this from the connecting to the cleaning to the visualization of interactive charts and graphs. And now tomorrow we are going to take it a step further. The goal of tomorrow's class is going to be actually to now use this our new knowledge. Going to clean just quickly one more data set, connect them, use them to make a dashboard. Yeah, tomorrow a dashboard. We're going to add slicers of different kinds, add maybe even a card visual. We're going to talk about many of these charts and graphs here, and we are obviously now going to yeah, make it interactive, play around with the interactivity, and you will gain a whole lot if you just tune in tomorrow. This was mainly introduction and cleaning. So tomorrow we're going to be hands-on with Power BI very, very deeply. And so please, if you're not subscribed yet, please be sure to subscribe. As I said, I'm sure my people down there in the comments are replying. I'm sure you're being replied at ASAP. I'm sure you're being replied ASAP. So please, if you have not yet subscribed, please sure to subscribe. Send it to your friends, friends, so they will gain a wealth of knowledge in Power BI, in data analysis as a whole. It's a very diverse and interesting field, and this thing is for free. So please share this link to your friends. Subscribe to the channel down there, and we'll see tomorrow. Also, we'll see tomorrow. As I've said, tomorrow, what are we going to do? We're going to talk about connecting data, but we're going to model data. We're going to make a dashboard. So please don't miss out. Making a dashboard, people think is easy, but there are some best practices that you should always never ever skip. You should never ever look over, right? So I'm going to create a dashboard. So please stay tuned. Stay tuned as we stay tuned for tomorrow's episode. Thank you for having me, and thank you for staying throughout the length of this day 4. Please be with us tomorrow, day 5 of data analysis free online training hosted by Loctech. And I can't wait to see you. So excited to I will see you there tomorrow.